broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
You guys! NXT TakeOver respect. Oh, we should have started with the Aretha Franklin respect.
I did. You want to know why I suggested that?
Why?
I suggested this song for that very reason, to not do that.
Oh.
Because that's so cheesy. Exactly.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta go with the less obvious thing. And girls really do run the world, especially after that showing, man.
Oh, dude.
True.
The main event.
This was just 2+ hours of awesome wrestling, and I'm so excited that we get to talk about it today, right here on the AfterBuzz NXT After Show. I'm Kathy Kelly. Joining me, as always, the hobo.
Yep, that's me. Right here, smelling great.
You don't smell that bad today.
One of those is a lie. It's like truth, lie.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to sit next to him, right? Though now
you are sitting here. You are the hobo, and smell.
And you smell.
You smell.
I do. It's not a lie.
Sitting next to the hobo, Mark Donica.
Despite my shirt, I'm still having a
Are
wonderful
we fighting
day.
right now?
Probably.
I feel like we're fighting.
Well,
if
no,
you're listening at home,
they hugged. If somebody is.
I'm neutral. I'm in the middle.
Yeah, you are.
Okay,
You're just
so
property
for
of.
people that are
property.
listening, I am in a Bayley shirt. Mark is in Sasha's shirt.
Hey, man.
And then the hobo somehow got a Performance Center t-shirt.
I've got friends.
Oh.
Some friends.
In Orlando places.
Orlando places.
Yeah, and it's very well used, so
Yeah,
it's probably.
It's got holes in it in
Yeah.
the tummy area. I don't know how that happened.
Tummy area. But yeah, no. Once you become best friends with Makazi, you
Are you guys best friends?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You edged me out, man.
Yeah.
It was the Airbender.
I edged Kathy out.
I know.
That's what it was.
That's why I'm wearing a Bayley shirt.
That's the hardest thing. You'd think we're incompatible, him being an airbender and me being an earthbender, but that's neither here nor there. We got a big show to talk about.
Let's talk about less nerdy stuff. Wrestling.
Yeah. That's
What?
way more macho.
Totally.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of things are happening right now.
NXT TakeOver respect. What'd you guys, overall thoughts of the show? I want to hear them.
Highs and lows. I mean, the show overall, I think, was okay. I don't know if it necessarily had the takeover feel. Of course, coming off of Brooklyn, that nothing is going to match Brooklyn. Nothing could beat Brooklyn.
I can agree with
so
that.
it's hard.
I think that was hard for me, especially the three of us being there in the building. It was going to be hard to top. Obviously, there was great wrestling in the show last night.
Yeah.
The production quality at Full Sail went
was
way up.
amazing. It looked like it could have been anywhere. They lit the ring in a way that didn't make it look like it was a small venue. They lit it like a professional pay-per-view quality show. So that alone made it step up and really make you take notice of everything that was happening.
It feels like we just had a special last week, though.
We did. That's the thing. Is this?
It was only a month ago.
The build in this, not to sound too smarky though, kind of my gimmick. It's the build on this one was really short, but we still got some good story from a lot of people. The fact that these were return matches, that kind of is what drove the thing as a whole. I think this was this was a good show sandwich with exciting bread. The meat, I couldn't tell you if it was turkey or ham. That's what I think.
Are you hungry?
Maybe it's been a long day. I drove by a Jersey Mike's when I got here, so.
Drove by Jersey Mike's.
Yeah. No, but you know what I mean. Like the top of the show, electric. Both tag team matches were just some of the best tag team wrestling that we've seen. And the Dana Brooke Asuka match. We saw
Dana Brooke look great.
It did. It really did.
My favorite match of hers thus far.
You could have done a match like that, and if somebody wasn't ready for it, you'd be able to know. But Dana took her part in that match and made it and it made her stand out as not just Asuka's beating up somebody, Dana Brooke is taking a beating.
Yeah.
Which is those are two different statements.
We'll get into all of these.
But then it's after that. Yeah.
My one thing is I felt like there were so many people missing from this show. Like I wanted to see Enzo Cass Carmella. I wanted to see Blake Murphy Alexa. I wanted to see there were so many people. The Vaudevillains, the tag team champs, weren't even on the show where they had so many tag team matches. It was crazy. I still wish that we had even seen those people in a small capacity. Or I don't know, I get that they had a dark match with Bull and someone else, right? But
I haven't found out who that was.
I tried to tweet him, he didn't get back to me yet.
Dude, it was a big night, so I don't blame him. They flipping one out yesterday. I don't blame him.
And I get that this was about respect, but I don't know what's coming after this. A lot of these, I feel like TakeOver Respect put a pretty bow on everything. There were nice endings to a lot of matches, and now I don't know who Balor's going to face.
NXT's over, everybody.
I don't know who Bayley's going to face next. I don't know who Asuka's going to face next. All of these feuds seem over, and I wanted at least one thing. I wanted, Joe to turn on Finn or something to make us want to, even though I'm gonna watch next week, to make us want to on the edge of our seats waiting for next week.
As opposed to it's NXT, I'm gonna watch anyway. They're getting a little too complacent, and they've addressed some stuff in the post-show interviews.
Okay.
So when we get to those things, I will bring them up.
Yeah, you've got to build a bridge, especially if you're having a special. You've got to build it in a way so that people are going to watch the next show.
Yeah.
SummerSlam is a great example of that. The way the Lesnar-Undertaker match finished. Like it, don't like it, you tuned in Monday to watch some more. You wanted to see what happened. And that's...
Some more what?
Exactly. Quite right.
I think that they should have renamed TakeOver Respect TakeOver Crying. People were just crying the entire time watching at home, ever. Tears.
Really quick, Essa Hente in chat said that Bull and Elias Sampson won again.
Oh, okay.
Sampson again, all right.
Yeah.
Cool.
The Drifter.
So let's get into the matches on TakeOver Respect. The final matches of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, which have been going on for over a month now. We got to see the trophy for the first time, and it looked awesome. Silver boots and all.
It's like 5 feet 5 inches tall. It's a really big trophy.
Yeah. Bigger than some humans.
Yes. Bigger than many humans we know.
Match 1 was Finn and Joe versus Dawson and Dash. Fast-paced match.
Incredibly fast-paced.
Everyone was going over or through the ropes and just really clean overall. I thought both teams worked really well together. Balor, his knee was the storyline throughout the match.
Dash and Dawson began to target that knee, trying to disable Finn Balor, the champion. You have to really consider Finn Balor is the champion. If any of these individuals were able to pin the champion, that's a hell of a bold statement.
Oh, completely.
You want to pin the champ.
But don't we need something like that to further a storyline for Balor?
In a way, yeah. But there's a lot of
Still,
different ways.
Such a great way to kick off the night.
No, this match was jaw-dropping. This and both of the semifinal matches showed why the legit tag teams of Dash and Dawson and JJ and Gable were in this tournament because of how effectively they work together as a unit against these guys who just kind of came together for this tournament. And while they're Dash and Dawson, they said it in the post-show interview, or actually post-match interview. The show was still going on, but they said, we showed them and everybody why we belong here, and we beat the tag team champions to get here. So everybody better be on notice because we're going for those titles.
They had to be the heavy favorites going into this simply because they beat the tag team champions in order to advance in the tournament.
Mick Foley put them over? Heavy? He put them both heavy over.
Good.
Yeah, they deserve it.
They do.
He puts over all the right people.
He knows. He's got a sense and a taste. He knows how this whole damn thing works. I listen to him. I think that he's still got a great mind for this stuff.
Yeah.
He does.
Second match of the night, Corbin and Rhino versus JJ and Gable. Another incredible. Might have even been better than the first match.
I think it was because it was a slightly slower pace. So I liked that a little bit better, and I liked having it a little bit more methodical. You see JJ and Gable, and they are so fast and so technical.
And the quick tags.
I know we're not going to get too much into the actual moves that happened during each match, but the O'Connor roll into the German suplex that Gable did.
Yeah.
Just the deadlift.
What?
Barrett was just like, what's happening? It was, and before I knew it, he was on the back of his head.
And then even Corbin's end of days with like the extra swing.
Dude, Gable loves being tossed around, man. It was just, there was the sidewalk. There's the sidewalk slam. It was just like tilt to whirl sidewalk
the way
slam.
he catches him, he caught him sideways instead of catching him in the front. So he got an extra
Bit of a
rotation
momentum.
and caught him with the left to bring him down even harder.
Yeah. They were chanting in Kurt Angle's music, saying Gable to it. And then JJ got the little bit of the thing that Angle does where he takes off the top part of the singlet.
I don't think you could get a bigger compliment than that.
No. And these guys showed as well why they belong. And when we get to, I had I think a good thought in the car about tag teams when we get to the end of the show.
Yeah.
But this match was super on point. Corbin was great. Rhino was great. They had to slow them down.
This is the first night I really liked Corbin. Like I'm like, oh yeah, okay, NXT definitely needs Corbin.
Yeah.
I really feel that Rhino has taken a mentor position with Corbin. I really think they see a long-term prospect in Corbin.
Yeah.
So they've teamed him with Rhino, and I think Rhino is really backstage helping this guy along, helping him understand and really molding him into a better wrestler overall. I get that feeling.
But while I liked Rhino coming back for a while, I think that they need to let that place that he's taking be one for an up-and-comer. Like, I liked when they had guys come in. Like, they had Tyson Kidd come down. They had Cesaro come down. They've had people come down in the past for a taping or two. And they're there to get more eyes and ears on the product. They're there to mentor the guys. But then that should be it. Like, I don't
sort of move on.
Because there's so many people. Like, I was having a discussion with one of our friends earlier today, and he was saying that, like, other than Balor and Joe, who are the top of the card? Like Breeze. But after that, like, you have a bunch of mid-card NXT guys. Yeah. Like, who else are you building?
That was something that I was hoping we would get tonight, even though tonight was about tag teams and the women's division. I agree that I was hoping for a little bit more from that. And I think, if anything, Corbin can blame Rhino for the loss in the finals and then take Rhino out, and Rhino sticks around as a trainer because his style and his body type is one that's becoming a little bit more common. So to have somebody who is a veteran around to be like, all right, now this works for this body type.
Who can still work.
Yes, who can still definitely work and go with the best of them. So to have a guy around like that to help those types of wrestlers out, I think would be a huge asset.
This may be going a little bit too deep, and it may be another conversation, but another thing that I've been talking to people about this week is, can a product like NXT sustain itself? Because I was thinking that what we had of NXT this past year was kind of like the Chicago Bulls back in the day, when it was Dennis Rodman, Michael Jordan, like that whole crew. Or it's, the best of the best talent that they have down there. And when those people move on to the main roster, you have to build up new people, but is it ever going to be that dream team of a roster again?
There's the complaint when watching WWE's main roster product that it's stale. And I don't believe that's ever going to be a problem with NXT. Now, the mixing and matching of talent that they have down there is going to vary, and you're going to get different matchups because that's how talent
different people.
flows.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to remain fresh, and I think freshness is actually better than having a solid team. Having guys come in and out, you're going to keep fresh matchups. People will continue to watch because you never know who's going to be there, and you never know the match you're going to see.
It's just crazy, though. Like, right when you start really getting into, like, this groove, like, Becky was on NXT for a year?
Less. Yeah.
That's crazy.
On TV for less than a year. So instead of waiting till the end, I'll just go ahead and say my thing now. What they need to do, and it's kind of already starting, and they can go with it like it was their idea all along, is they need to change their focus seasonally. Like some seasons, it's like regular sports. You go basketball for this season for whatever reason, because it's colder, you could be in a stadium, whatever. And baseball, it's hotter, you want to be outside, whatever. So with that, you focus on the heavyweight championship, or the NXT championship picture for a certain amount of time, and then have that take a backseat while that crop that just had amazing matches goes off onto the main roster. So you take the time to build that.
I think they already do that by accident, because when they have a plethora of these things, they focus on it. Like right now we're seeing so many tag teams, but if you think back to a year ago, we had 2 or 3 tag teams.
That's what I mean, is we've hit an apex with the women's division where people are going, what's next?
I know.
What's going to be next for Bayley?
And they've signed so many more females because of that, but are they ready to be in that position of
which
facing
is why
Bayley?
you take the time. Right now, you focus on the tag teams. A whole lot of attention has been brought.
They already have. Where do they
no,
go
but it's
further
not
from here?
It's not a main event thing.
Okay.
It's not that, like, the vaudevillains being taken out of the match kind of made you forget about the tag team titles for a little bit. But now with Dash and Dawson and JJ and Gable and all of the other teams showing and trying to get that, real tag teams didn't win the Dusty Classic. Now is the time to flip and put. It's unheard of. You put the tag teams, maybe not at London, but maybe the next month, where the tag team championship is the main event. And while they're building up that tag team scene, maybe a fatal 4-way tag team match or something, they're building back up those other divisions that they've just culled from.
That was also. A lot of people were complaining on Twitter that there wasn't a real tag team in that main event for the Dusty Tag Classic.
That's why we're all doing this, though.
Yeah.
Right. We're all doing this.
But
the hand quotes for iTunes listeners.
That doesn't make tag teams look good in that, 2 guys can just pair up.
I'm going to ask that question. Does this hurt established tag teams having 2 non-established teams in the final? I mean, anybody can beat anybody on a given night. That's wrestling. Mm-hmm. There are upsets. But does this make established tag teams look bad?
It just means that it looks like anyone can pair up and become a tag team tomorrow.
Now,
not that you need that rapport.
And win.
Yeah.
We're getting into some dangerous territory, that I will admit, because this tournament wasn't about acclaim. It wasn't about anything. It was about Dusty. Mm-hmm. And when we get to the finals, we can talk about what that means a little bit more, but we do have a little bit more show in between.
So the finals of the Dusty Classic will be Finn and Joe, Corbin and Rhino, which we'll talk about later.
Yep.
We see a quick promo of Asuka, mask off, then we get into the match.
Entrance. How'd you like her entrance?
Her entrance?
Yeah.
Great.
But just badass.
The robe, awesome. Something that you and I were fighting about last night is I think that there's a disconnect between her ring gear and her as a killer. Like, her being that fierce force. Like, I see her, like, her ring gear to me screams Bayley. Like, fringe and happy colors. And
which makes it even crazier when she goes absolutely insane.
But why can't you be the poisonous butterfly? Why can't you be the murder fly? Why?
You can.
You can't. You don't have to have mute tones. You can have all that color and all that life and still be a stone cold killer because it's electricity.
That's why people hate clowns.
Yeah, I hate clowns. I hate them.
I don't hate clowns. They don't look scary though.
They do.
No, they don't.
Yeah, no. Don't trust anything that happy ever. Life is not that good. Why are you smiling?
Yeah, Apollo Crews.
Yeah,
Cyborg Apollo Crews. This match was literally insane.
This was incredible, and for people who have never seen Asuka before,
that's
debut.
the crap I'm talking about.
Okay, but that's a different kind of clown. That's not a normal clown.
Please don't.
Yeah, anyways.
Don't full screen
She's
that.
doing the American Horror Story clown, which we don't need to see. We don't need to terrify our fans. We have kids who are watching here.
And somebody in chat just brought up that very same clown.
Anyways.
You're a monster. No,
Many face kicks. Dana held her own on this.
Held her own?
And
she can barely hold herself up.
Well, but she proved that she could wrestle this quality of a match.
She was a punching bag with a pulse. I don't think she did anything that anybody else couldn't do. She had Emma to help her. She was the one who caused the distraction.
Emma was scared. Are you kidding me? She did not help at all.
I think she was, but she was the one who allowed Asuka to have that momentary misstep and allowed Dana to get that just a little bit of edge so she could get on top of her. But Asuka completely showed her arsenal, the depth of her arsenal, and the deadliness of said arsenal.
I almost felt bad for Dana.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
I mean, almost.
See, now here's the fun part. So none of you saw the post match?
I did.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay. So Kathy, here's what you missed. She was trying to be woken up in the trainers area backstage, and when she woke up and was like, "How fast did I beat her?"
It
must have been really fast. She's like, all right, and both her and the trainer were like, all right, Emma and the trainer were like, you should probably lay back down and everything, and then Asuka came out and was like, oh, Dana, and then just pat her on the head a couple of times, and then just gave like a.
Was looking at Emma with those daggers
totally
and
pimped
that
away.
Plastic smile.
Great ending after Asuka beat Dana outside the ring. Asuka just staring down Emma, and Emma terrified.
She should run.
Hopefully we'll see that within the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
As we were talking about in weeks past, potentially having a Divas tag division, Emma and Dana sharing gloves.
Yeah, Emma was wearing the top half, and Dana was wearing the bottom half. It was adorable.
Yeah.
It was adorable. They're so cute.
Weird.
Speaking of cute, Tyler Breeze.
Ooh.
What? He's the king of Cuteville.
Well, first we see Finn's knee is getting tended to backstage. Then we get the Nia Jax promo saying she will debut next week.
Tonight.
Well, tapings.
Tonight is.
Speaking of tapings, please, no spoilers. I've been saying it in the chat all afternoon. Only stuff that's been officially announced by WWE.com or on Twitter.
Yeah.
Including one that we're going to talk about at the end of the show. So, yeah.
Finals. Oh, wait, no. Breeze versus Apollo Crews.
Yeah, no, don't forget this one.
Yeah.
Super cute.
Super quiet.
I feel like I'm saying great match for every single match, and it's just getting redundant, but this was another excellent match.
In terms of physicality, this was a great match. In terms of character, charisma, this was a one-sided match.
It didn't tell a story to me.
It didn't.
No.
Breeze was mad, but you have to have something to be mad at. You can't. How can you? You're just mad at perfection.
They had, Breeze has a very defined character.
Yeah.
We all know that. But the build up to it was almost too short. Him, any friend of Cruz's is an enemy of mine isn't enough to want to fight someone.
It wasn't substantive. There had to be a reason why Breeze didn't like Apollo. And it never materialized.
Mm-hmm.
It never really had any more depth to it than, I don't like him.
I think the argument
And we
is
already
that
talked about that, didn't we?
Cruz winning this match really puts him over as a formidable opponent.
Does it?
I think Cruz is a formidable opponent.
Yeah, but
I think he needs to lose.
What do you think of his new finisher?
I hope it's an alternate finisher. I like the idea of Breeze whipping out multiple things in order to win a match. Supermodel kick, beauty shot, unprettier. He has options, and that makes it unexpected to which one will work on
like
different
one of his
people.
different poses.
Exactly.
Yep.
And I hope that this was something that he had to pull out because the first one didn't work. Because the first thing didn't work on Tyler, and that's another resort. And then once that doesn't work on somebody, then he has to pull something else out of his hat.
Apollo Crews is the perfect man. That being said, why would you cheer for the perfect man if he's going to win? He automatically has a physical edge. He has an agility edge. He has just an appeal edge. I'm going to cheer for the other guy. Almost 90% of the time now, if that's the Apollo Crews we're going to get, I want to see him lose. He's got to lose it.
It's the same thing for when they try to push monster heels. Here's a guy who can't be beat. And then you don't want to see the good guy get beat, but then we saw it with Ryback, where super early on when he showed up as Ryback, he was just beating people up and winning, and that was boring.
Yeah.
And
What is Cruz's flaw? He doesn't have one.
He must.
He looks great.
That's the
great.
flaw.
Perfect.
The flaw is he's flawless.
That's a flaw.
Yeah,
No.
because if you can't,
That's not relatable. You can't
Exactly.
be a face and...
That's what I mean. Is he? If he's flawless, then how can we relate to it?
And I keep on saying that I want to see some sort of promo or interview of his. And even in the hype packages that we got months ago before he debuted, there wasn't much personality in them. It was just a good-looking guy smiling and...
Hey, I'm here.
look
And
at
that's
these
what he
moves I
does
can
now,
do.
is he
Yeah.
comes in and he goes, wow, I'm here. Yes, you are, Apollo. Good for you.
Look at all these guys.
Yeah.
Wow.
There was a in the pre-show. Did you guys watch the pre-show?
No.
I went back and I watched it. He was doing a backstage interview, and it was fine. And then Dana Brooke came in with Emma and was like, I am sick and tired of all of these newbies coming in. And even and this is what made me sad is Apollo's like, you know what? I've seen Asuka and what she can do, and I just have to say, best of luck. And it was just like it was something
He's
so
like Stepford
like
husband.
Yeah. He really is. He's a robot. He's
a
like,
robot.
here's a ham sandwich. I made it just for you.
Still wants all
peanut
my
butter and
reviews.
jelly with the crust cut off. But yeah, it was like I like him. I want him to lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
I
for
have
him to be a robot that can't lose.
Or to be a robot that can't lose.
Controlled by Solomon Crowe.
Controlled by Solomon Crowe.
That would be the preferred angle, or
I don't know if they could afford those special effects. Or they're getting more of Full Sail in on it, so like they're getting the special effects students in order to get everything done.
I just need to see Solomon Crowe out there, like on his phone during a match, and just looking down at the phone.
It's
and
like
looking up at Cruz.
it's like Harry Potter. It's like the Quidditch match where you just see Snape like just mouthing words to the
Right.
flippin' broomstick.
Right.
Yeah.
What is he doing on his phone? Apollo Crews is a robot. Oh my god! Or he just needs to lose.
Yeah.
He can win. He just has to be a robot.
He can win only if he's a robot.
What if he's just mid-match and he's like smiling and like about to do a move and then he just powers down?
Yeah.
I'm in.
And let me just make clear for everybody out there, we really like Apollo Crews.
Oh, I love him.
He's
How could you
he's
not?
remarkable.
That's why we want to see more out of him.
Exactly. That's the same thing with several people. Like with Baron, when we you go back to my first
I don't
time
know if I
doing
liked
this.
Baron.
But first time I was on the show with Simon, I was like, I like this guy, and I saw something in him. And with Uha, we saw something in him.
I will say that even though they don't want to call NXT developmental anymore, it still is. It's one of those places where you have a character, it's not fully fledged yet. You might have the idea fully fledged, but it's still working out those kinks until you get to the main roster. And I think that everyone that they've debuted thus far, they've come a really long way, even in a few weeks of being on television.
And that's why we still have the couple of people who are so good, like Tyler Breeze. I think they haven't brought him up yet because he's too much of an asset right now.
They can't bring him up. Like, who else would you have in the top?
Exactly.
Top tier
You really
character
can put
guy.
him up against.
That's why you can't bring up Finn Balor.
Not right. Not
Well,
yet.
obviously not right now.
But I think the whole leather jacket thing is a good alternative to having him be the demon every night. I think they're working on his non-demon appearances to still make him be like, oh, this dude's cool, and he also puts pain on.
I love the fact that he has two characters, because then you don't have to worry about kayfabe at any time.
And also think about what they're doing with Kane right now. And people are just buying it hook, line, and sinker because it's amazing.
Well, Mankind did it with 3 people.
Fair. 4.
Mick Foley did it with 4.
Yeah.
Okay, after this match, we see Funaki and Hideo sitting ringside.
No, sorry. It's an amazing comment.
Oh.
They like Apollo Crews just like they like Eva Marie.
No one's booing Apollo Crews, though,
No,
are they?
he's perfect, though.
Not yet.
Apollo Crews is the opposite of Eva Marie. Eva Marie has a lot of work left to do, and we hope that she can succeed because of all of the pressure put upon her, whereas Apollo Crews is remarkable.
He's sort of destined to succeed.
Yeah.
They're the opposite. Apollo Crews is remarkable, and no, that's what you're saying.
Eva Marie is nice.
No.
She's in a spot.
I want to see Hideo back.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
I think we've only got a couple months left on him.
Yeah.
Couple months.
We
Couple
got
months too
Sammy's in
long.
2016.
I know. What the? Anyways, can't change it.
Nope.
But finals of the Dusty Tag Classic: Joe and Finn versus Baron and Rhino. Finn, his knee's still hurting him throughout this match, but they came out on top.
I finally figured it out.
Oh.
What was missing from this match?
Do it.
The confidence from Rhino and Corbin. They had to have confidence that they didn't seem to have. It was sort of missing. Having Finn injured, they should have gone into this really cocky. They should have been, you're fighting one and a half men. They should have been really cocky the entire time. Had Finn try to get Finn to tag in multiple times, Finn sort of edging out.
Maybe the storyline there is they didn't do that because they're not used to being a tag team, and that had it been Jordan and Gable, like, they would have strategized before the match. Hey, Finn's knee is not doing well. Let's target that.
We didn't see that though.
I know.
That's the that's another problem.
Well, because that didn't happen. That wasn't
Exactly.
the outcome.
That's the story not told. Now we can make a great story that didn't happen, but the story that happened was somewhat lackluster.
And it's hard to talk about it because in something like this, this is the last match that I expected a clean finish in.
Yeah, really.
Especially knowing Dusty and how he booked. Like, I wasn't saying as a joke that I was expecting a Dusty finish in this, but with the way that they had presented everything in the pre-show, they had a reveal of the trophy with all of the Rhodes family, and it was a really nice thing where everybody got to say something, even Eden, and then with what Cody said at the end of the match, then they totally, and I think that's another thing is, as nice as this moment was, they broke so much of the fourth wall for this show, and you gotta wonder if it's less of the show, like how much of it would have been the show must go on, and how much of it is it like no, just stop everything and do it this way. It's hard to talk about something like that.
Well, with NXT, they constantly break down the fourth wall because we see things like the WWE 24 special, and we see these packages where the wrestlers seem like they're our friends because it's just more relatable. It's you get to look into their actual lives.
And we're going to be getting more of that with the new show that's coming out.
October 26th.
Yep.
So where is that line? Like, it almost blurs between keeping in character and letting people into your life and seeing the struggle and the hardships that go into everything.
But it has to be a hard line. It can't be gray. It's got to be hard. This is where my life ends and the life of somebody else begins.
I mean,
that's the easiest way to do it.
I'm so excited to see all of this, but there is that argument of whether we should only get to see it, like the Matt Clement versus Tyler Breeze on an E60, not something produced by WWE.
And what did this do other than give somebody a trophy? Because I'll tell you what it didn't do. It didn't give Joe a number one contendership. If you made this about something else,
how like heelish would it have been if we had this incredible moment where, you know, everyone's on stage, the Rhodes family, we're all Rhodes, and then Joe just turned on Finn. In that moment.
Although
like,
that's terribly reminiscent of Owens and Zayn.
Yeah.
It's a little too close.
Yeah.
It would have been great.
they needed
I'm not saying
something.
it wouldn't be, but
Yeah.
And I think with the victory of this going to Joe and Finn, they have to fight the Vaudevillains. They almost have to.
What?
Because they're the tag team champions. These two just won a
But they
tag
didn't have to
team
beat
tournament.
them. But they didn't have to beat the tag team champions.
Exactly. So they have to have a match.
Do they?
Yes.
Well, guess what? They're not, because next week on NXT, announced by Mr. Regal in a behind-the-scenes thing, Joe was like, "Hey, yo, really happy about this, but I deserve a shot at your championship." That's what it's been about, and it wasn't heelish. It was respect. It was just like, yo, I think I deserve a shot at your championship. And Finn says, you know what? You're exactly right. You want a shot? You got it. Regal walks in and says, actually, there's going to be a battle royal next week for the number one contendership for the NXT championship.
I think I would be a lot more invested in it if Joe would just turn on him and started.
Agreed. But then what is that weighed against the memorialness of it?
And then the Vaudevillains are kind of sitting in back going, well, we're not the best tag team in this company, but we still got these shiny-ass belts for some reason.
And
you
then,
got to establish them again.
And here's me looking to the future. How long will this generation of Dusty's kids really be able to hold this Memorial Cup sacred?
Well, this is the first year.
Exactly.
It sounds like
It's
of many that they're going to do this.
There's plenty of room to etch many tag teams on there. How long before they retire something like this and just let that trophy live on as a legacy? Because definitely Dusty's fingers are all over the pie that is NXT.
I'm already looking forward to this Tag Classic again next year.
I agree.
Yeah.
But are they going to make it... when are they going to cross back into that story... cross back over that storyline? Are we going to have the Rhodes family out every year? Is it going to, like... Or, like, that's what I'm wondering.
We just have to...
When do we go back into story world?
This was the inaugural one, and I think for the inaugural one, you have the family come out, you do all that. I think for the next one's got to be story. From here on out, it's just got to be story. Because it was so close to his actual passing, you have to have that in memoriam moment, and everybody gets to participate, and everybody gets to have that moment where they're all remembering him, and having that connective or connection between each other. And we're all Rhodes now.
I mean, he touched so many people.
Exactly,
not just out of
and
that
that's...
company. I even freaking started crying when I was watching Total Divas the other week and they mentioned Dusty. Like, that, for someone that's never even met him, like, that's incredible to have that much of an impact on the product, the people. It was a great moment.
And I agree that this was a great moment in terms of the match. If you wanted and I think this is the main thing. If you wanted to make this respect and make this a contest, you start the match with a handshake and saying, this is the finals. This is for Dusty. This isn't for me. This isn't for you. This is for Dusty. May the best team win. Not we already won the thing, which we didn't get. We didn't get any story stuff right before. But if there was more of a, hey everybody, this is straight up Memorial right now. Just sit back and enjoy this match for Dusty's sake. If we had that moment, I don't think it would have been as, oh well, nothing happened, we're not trying. And most
we're being really nitpicky.
We're being really nitpicky. We're being really nitpicky
because we have to. It was such a good show that you have to cut. I mean, not that you have to. It's just because we're wrestling fans and we like to.
We see the bigger
about
picture, and I know in the microcosm that is this show, everybody was so happy after it was over. Oh, all the good things happened. All the good guys won, but that's not always the best thing. You can't always get just everything you want. Sometimes you have to not get the thing you want in order to create something more memorable in the long term. And I think maybe I don't know. Who the hell am I?
Who
You're
are
the
you?
hobo.
Yeah.
Congratulations, we
That's
figured it
kind
out.
of
Holy
like-
crap.
I'm sure there's a few people going to be watching this going, what the hell does he know? He's a hobo.
There's some fun people in chat. Remember, you can join in on the chat because we are live every week on youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV. Join in the conversation. That's what everybody says.
Okay. Can we get to the women's match?
Any final words on the thing, or did we kind of say it? And
I think we basically got it. And you said what's lined up for the next set of tapings, and it's kind of not what I want, but that's not gonna change anything.
Always get what you want.
I do know it. Always love the Stones. Stones are better than Beatles, by the way.
get out.
Make me!
Yeah, if John. Oh God. Okay.
Talking
Knapsack
about a
would hit
fight. 30-minute Iron Woman match. History.
The only people who weren't calling it an Iron Woman match was the WWE, but everybody
Right.
else was like, "No, don't call it an Iron Man
They
match." It's stupid.
started chanting it during the match.
Iron
Iron
Woman.
Woman. Yeah. You couldn't just add like a couple of letters in there.
Bayley also, I don't know if you noticed this, was wearing Iron Man colors.
She was. And she had a little Iron Man logo too. Like subversive, but it was there.
It's cute. I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was on her back.
That's not worth it.
The comic book nerd didn't notice that.
Yeah, I know.
What?
The wrestling nerd was too focused on what was to come.
Oh, okay.
Shut up!
We get the entrances from both girls. Izzy is in the crowd. Foreshadowing, maybe? But overall, like, I don't even want to go move by move.
Impossible.
It was back and
It's half
forth.
an hour.
Yeah.
I literally got most of it.
That's a half an hour.
That's a half an hour. But like really broken down. Because honestly, they played it smart.
did.
I could break
Slow
it down
game.
for you, but
Even
I'm not
the-
going
the
to.
first-
because
Slow
you have to
game.
pay
The
me
first
money.
pin with, Sasha blocking the ref's view
Thumb to
and
the
then
eye.
thumb in the eye.
Tweet of the night was Kevin Owens going, "What a shameful way to get a pinfall." God, I love him.
You're
He's
terrible.
so good.
But Sasha really, she has been one of the most liked heels in NXT, and I think tonight she broke out a couple things that just made you hate her in all of the right ways.
Oh yeah.
Stealing Izzy's headband was the best move.
I think they
Making a kid cry.
They
I
all
mean,
went into this going, you know what? Everybody likes Sasha Banks a little bit too much. What can we do to make people not like Sasha Banks? Well, she can be as dirty as possible and get a pin in some really bad ways and make a little girl cry. What more do you need to do to be the worst person in NXT?
Not much. She is not even the worst. She is right now, I think, tied with Kevin Owens for best heel in the WWE.
She works so hard for it.
She
so
does.
he.
And there was a note. Her attire, she modeled after her debuting /indie attire. So it came full circle. A
saw
lot of
that,
people
yeah.
were tweeting the
Cool.
picture today of her like first appearances and her indie stuff. So it's the same colors that she used to
just
wear.
still
That's
only
cool.
5 years ago. Crazy to think.
Yeah,
and
really.
they're at the top of the game.
And
This-
I mean, everyone is saying that Bayley and Sasha's takeover match at NXT Brooklyn was the match of the year. This one, I think a lot of people have said that surpassed that for them. They're definitely different matches,
So
but
a lot of people, like in chat, when I was in chat earlier, somebody asked me how I compared this match to the one in Brooklyn, and we talked about it last night. You can't.
No.
They're two completely different matches, two completely different stories, and two different not just in name types of matches, but the psychology and the mentality in what went into both of their performances is completely different.
I think there should be two categories. It can't simply be match of the year. It has to be singles match of the year and alternate match of the year because it's an alternate set of
gimmick
rules.
match of the year.
Right. I'm not going to use that term though.
Yeah. Who uses gimmick as a pronoun?
Who does that? I mean, really, gimmick podcast. But the ideas in both are so different from one another, and they're both spectacular in their own way. You can't judge them against each other. You can only say that these are two of the best matches of the year, of the singles variety, and of an alternate variety.
There was so much on the line for Bayley the first time, and this match was putting a period on it. Sasha was trying to regain her, like, without saying it. It was like when Kevin Owens was like, "Oh, I need that now." After he lost the NXT Championship and he was fighting against John Cena. No, I need that now. That's mine now. I need that for reasons.
Right.
And Sasha said it in so many words. And this was another area where they kind of grade everything at the end. So it was kind of like, all right, everybody, show's over. Let's have a moment to talk about this match.
Like doing that.
And I don't know if it was time for that yet, to be honest. Like the move last show was amazing, and I think they were trying to top that. Mm-hmm. When you can't, because that the first moment at the end of the last match was it seemed so natural.
Well, can you recreate those moments of, like, I think that they realize how many people relate to the girls crying and how far they've come, mm-hmm. and
living a dream.
Yeah, and you can't force those moments. Those are just in the moment, natural, and when you try to recreate those moments, they don't seem as sincere. This one tonight was historic. Like, the fact when they brought out the flowers, like, everything, that was a moment that needed to happen.
Sasha crumbling.
Yeah.
That almost got me. Like, there's a lot of times I was just like, wow. So much wow in this whole match when it came to...
It means so much more. Like, for them to be a part of it, I think is so huge, but it's not just about Bayley and Sasha. It's about women in general in this industry and not being taken seriously a lot of the time. Mm. Having those broad panty matches for years, like, they have changed the game.
And I think it wasn't the moment they created last night after the match was over was not trying to recreate something that happened in Brooklyn. That was a moment of all the four horsewomen coming together. This was a showing that the entire company, or at least the entirety of NXT, is behind these two, and that they're pioneers, but they're being supported. They're not being sort of pushed down like they have been for so long. Mm-hmm. Women are being allowed to shine, and the entire company is behind them doing so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I see that.
And they've put in the work to get there.
100%. Triple H, in his post-show interview, mentioned the history behind it. I just like the terminology he used, was that this was the first time women main evented a WWE pay-per-view. Yes. He didn't say a network special event.
No, screw
he
that.
said he realized of course he knows the importance of it, mm-hmm. but saying it in that context gives it an even more elevated position. Yeah. And for it to be these two, like, I thought it was, it's one thing when you have a Fatal 4-Way match, and that Fatal 4-Way match being just absolutely amazing, but when it was these two, Charlotte and Sasha are kind of like different shades of gray if you really want to compare the two of their characters together. Yeah. Whereas these two are black and white, and to have it be them from a character perspective and from an in-ring acumen standpoint, but like you can't compare two matches that are 100% for different reasons.
Right.
And nobody could argue their passion for the industry.
No.
It was a great moment. Flowers and tears and the whole roster and more tears.
Yeah.
Respect. I mean, there's not too much to say about this match other than stuff that's already been said. Mm-hmm. A little bit of a scare from Sasha at the beginning of the match with them Japanese arm drags, dude. Woo!
They can be tricky.
A little hard.
Be tricky.
Took it hard on her right shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it was timed down to
left shoulder.
The second, and
that's how I wanted it, and that's how it hoped. And
although
then,
a lot of people did want it to go into overtime.
I called
they
it last week.
expected it, yeah.
But
it didn't.
They had time, but now I see why they had that extra time.
Right.
But I wanted it as the match was happening. I was like, no, it's got to be the last couple seconds. It's got to be, because I go back to those Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat 60-minute draws that used to happen back in the territories that I talked about on with Chatting with Kathy, which you can find on AfterBuzz iTunes. But there was one night where they decided within the last 10 seconds to do a roll-up victory. within like 59 minutes and 55 seconds.
With his feet on the rope.
Yeah, with his feet on the ropes. And everyone's just like, what? They actually won. So that type of a thing, I was hoping that it would have been 0-0 until the end, but they do that so often. I'm happy that it was an actual score. Because that's why you can't compare this to another match, because this has multiple decisions in the same match.
And Sasha's, both of her pinfalls came in completely heelish fashions.
Yeah.
The first one coming by way of a thumb to the eye, and the second one getting the 10 count after roughing up Bayley on the outside and throwing her into the screen. She did not look like the clean-cut wrestler that Bayley is, and she's 100% clean, and that, I think, was perfect. Bayley won because she really put her all into it, and Sasha got her pinfalls because she's just the dirtiest
Not even
possible
pinfalls because of the count out.
Right. Well, I mean, decisions, yeah.
Yeah. And hopefully whoever's up next for Bayley can step, like, that's the thing, is she's on such a high pedestal now. Somebody's got to climb up.
I think Bayley can take a little time off. They can start putting the women's championship on the back burner to build up some other ladies. And I think
why do they need to? They have two great storylines with women usually throughout NXT tapings.
Usually.
If
So
not more.
right now, it's Eva Marie is really the only, and now with Dana Brooke and Asuka and Emma, so those are two other storylines that they're working on.
So who do we see trying to
I still
take
want
on
Alexa
Bayley
Bliss.
next?
I'm pretty sure it's going to be Eva Marie, but I want Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss and Bayley has got to happen, because she's the next person under Sasha who's got such just venom when
Which
she's
is
a
crazy
heel.
to think about a year ago,
Seriously.
Alexa Bliss.
Yeah. Oh,
Just
yeah.
so
Faith,
happy
trust, and
going
pixie dust.
against, like, the two girls that should be role models on the NXT roster.
Really.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying
you
that
can't have two. We've explored this. You can't have two role models. One of them's got to be the bigger role model. And this time it was Bayley. Bayley's the one that won out, and Alexa Bliss ended up changing.
And as I've mentioned before on the show, I think if you give Eva Marie a year, she might be ready. But I don't think that's what the brass wants. I think the brass is trying to push her up for either Total Divas reasons or for whatever reason they want. Either way, she's got a lot of natural heat. But I don't think that she can have as great all red everything with blue ring attire.
Yeah.
But I want Alexa. I want Alexa, but it's probably going to be Eva Marie.
I would like to see Alexa, only from the standpoint of how are Blake and Murphy going to get involved, because they have to get involved. They are at her beck and call. They are completely behind her 100%. They are her boys. So what role would they play?
I would love
that
to see
feud?
either Alexa or, although I think that Emma would probably have a feud with Asuka coming up. Put Emma in that. It'd be interesting to see Emma in this now heel role go against Bayley, since, they have history.
Yeah, I'm down. What a show.
So great.
So, do we want to talk at all about the 24, the WWE 24, really quick?
It was great.
Cool, we did it.
What more can we say? They make it look like the place to be if you're a professional wrestler or a wrestling professional in any capacity at all.
Thank you for that.
They make you want to be down there. They really do. They make it look like the shiniest gem in all of professional wrestling, and that's hard sometimes, but boy, that's a fantastic.
Was there anybody that you wanted to see focused on that didn't?
It's strange because we see more of who we've already seen focused on.
Right.
Yeah.
But
it was the top two matches, essentially. So,
yeah.
With a couple other people mixed in.
I also loved the end of it with just the flying montage of everyone like doing high flying moves in the air, like over the ropes. It was slow-mo. Awesome.
It's very slow-mo.
Slow-mo.
Yeah. So there was one bit of news that I'm going to mention, but it's not. We don't need the thing. We don't need the cue or anything. WWE NXT and WWE.com have announced that Cowboy James Storm former TNA World Heavyweight Champion, former TNA Tag Team Champion. I think he may have gotten the X Division Champion once or twice. I love this guy. I love James Storm. He's one of the best guys that they've ever churned out.
I mean, but talk about a dark horse. I did not think he would make a television debut kind of ever.
He's been doing debut for TV for years.
No, it's not about that.
Because it's not 6 sides?
It's because he's...
Is that what's confusing to him?
Yes.
That's
it's because
probably
he's 38 years old and not what they're looking for. Kind of, period.
Are you an
he
ageist?
Is not the... Huh?
He's an ageist.
He's not the WWE model. He's not. So it's hard to...
He's not a model, idiot.
Bottle. I think he's good because he's TV ready, and he can show up at the drop of a hat, and he can help other people who may not be TV ready learn from experience without having to learn himself.
Do they have him in maybe the same capacity as a Rhino, where he's around for a while and then maybe he gets transitioned into the role of a trainer? That's
what I think is going to happen. I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. But he can sporadically make appearances, like maybe a Brian Kendrick. You all right? Ooh, elbowed. So I think that's what it's going to be. Is he's gonna help people adjust to TV, and also work behind the scenes as a trainer. Yeah. But I'm happy to see him on this level.
I'm not saying he doesn't have anything to contribute. I'm saying he really does, but I did not expect him to be making a showing on television. Yeah.
Well, we'll find out next week.
I think that's great. I really think it's great that WWE's thinking outside the box.
I
think it's fantastic.
I'm excited.
So next week, can you wait?
Nope. Actually, I can. I have to. Last couple of times for tapings, I cheated and I looked ahead.
Oh.
And just to be like, hey, is anybody? And then I would be like, you won't believe. And I would spoil like 1 or 2 things, but I'm gonna try to be really good.
No spoilers.
No, I know. I'm such an advocate for no spoilers, but sometimes people are like, but it's really good. And I'm like, fine.
Yeah,
I'll look.
Whatever.
Anyways, I'm looking forward to next week, but I'm really, really looking forward to the next takeover in London. That just seems like it's going to be great.
We're going to have to figure out how to win.
I want to go to London, but I can't.
Wrestling on the streets of London.
Anyways, put yourselves over.
Hey, that's Johnny's line, but I'll do it anyway. Hi, I'm the internet soapbox Mark Donica. You can find me on Twitter at soapboxmark. I am the host of a couple things here at AfterBuzz, as well as our sister network Popcorn Talk. We just relaunched Video Game Movie Anatomy. We're going to be doing Halo Forward Unto Dawn on October 19th, so make sure to watch it. It's on Netflix. It's free. Why not? Also, Jedi Alliance, where we talk about Star Wars, and the Gimmick Pod, where we talk about wrestling some more, a little bit greener than we usually do. We have shirts. We have gear. If you want to help us out, do more events, go to nxteam.spreadshirt.com. That's where you can get an I Am a Kathy Kelly guy shirt. It's where you can get a Smart shirt that looks like Enzo Swift. There's a lot, Hug Bayley Hug, which looks like his Killstein Kill. Very funny. But again, twitter.com/soapboxmark, twitter.com/thegimmickpod.
I am the hobo.
Follow that.
At your hobo on Twitter. ProWrestlingTees.com/hobo is where you don't buy a shirt.
He's nailing
buy
it.
a shirt at nxteam.spreadshirt.com. If you want to learn how to wrestle, follow at CWOFH Training on Twitter. Watch Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. We have a taping this weekend, which will be fun.
Sunday.
And 4 p.m. on locally in Los Angeles on KDOC, nationally YouTube TV, patreon.com/United Wrestling for those of you outside of that scope.
Wow, he did it.
You can follow me on Twitter at Catherine Kelly, on Instagram at Kathy Kelly, and find the podcast Chatting with Kathy on the iTunes. Just type in Chatting with Kathy.
Yeah, if you want to learn more about me, go flipping Chatting with Kathy.
But who wants to do that?
Nobody.
I also have Dennis Haskins on this week.
Yes, that was a great interview. That was a great interview.
So.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye!
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
See you later. The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.